another day, another problem with the subway. And quickly want to mention that John from Pine Power and Matt Campa today were all over the Long Island Railroad. But it's my turn to talk about the subways. And we're going to talk about them right now. So first up, let's talk about this stupid issue that happened at Queensbridge way earlier this morning at 4 o'clock. I can't believe I'm actually reading the most idiotic tweet I've ever seen from NYCT Subway. Northbound F trains running on the M line from Rockefeller Center to Roosevelt Avenue because of a shopping cart on the tracks at Queensbridge. So, what they had to do was they had to make the F run on the M line, and the first stop along the M is, of course, Queens Plaza. So, that was something interesting. If I got the station wrong, I want to apologize. I will double check it with my map, because I have my map on my phone as we speak. But I'm wondering, how does a shopping cart end up on a subway track? I don't understand that. I've never heard anything in my life riding the subways ever seen that before. Oh, okay, my bad. So I know Queens Plaza is the second stop in Queens. If I said the first stop, I want to apologize. No, the first stop on the M line, and it's the same thing with the E, is Court Square, 23rd Street. Okay, so if I got that information wrong, I want to apologize. But yes, so they had to make the F skip Roosevelt Island, and they had to make the F skip Queensbridge going northbound. So a lot of people were confused earlier this morning at 4 o'clock, but man, I've never seen anything like this before. Okay, and the 7 had two big problems today. First off, with the morning rush, 7 express trains were running with delays because of signal problems at Flushing Main Street. So that's our first issue with the 7 today. And we're going to also take a look at other problems as well, because I will go to the 7 issue that happened earlier this afternoon as we go along here. So, 9 o'clock, we had northbound B and D trains stopping along the C from West 4th Street to 59th Street because of a train with mechanical problems at the Port Authority. So, let me see if I'm reading this right. How does this affect the D line? Okay, I'm left wondering something here. The D runs along 6th Avenue, and it goes express to 34th Street, Herald Square. And it's the same thing with the B. That was odd that they had to switch those B and D trains on the 8th Avenue line. Mechanical problems at 42nd Street. 42nd Street, Bryant Park. Okay, now I figured that one out. Okay. Brooklyn issues. We're not going to go into Brooklyn because, again, Brooklyn issues are something I don't want to talk about that much. I will get into the... Again, I do want to talk about the L issue in the future, but I might as well talk about the L today. Let's talk about what happened on the L. So, Rockaway Parkway bound L trains were ending at Lumiere Street, and 8th Avenue bound L trains were stopping at Broadway Junction. Okay, so now they're talking my language, because I know that I'm pretty much familiar with most of the L line because I know it ends in Canarsie. So, as an alternative for service into Manhattan, customers had to take the ACJ trains. Yes, that is correct. A, C, and J trains do stop at Broadway Junction. And I know that the J stops there because the J starts at Jamaica Center. So that is something I'm also familiar with, of course. And I had to recommend people taking the buses today for service along 14th Street. I mean, overall, the L really needs that work done in 2019. And again, I will do a video on that, but I wanted to just talk about people who I know who take the L train. I do know people who take the L train, especially they have to go to Canarsie every day, but that's a different story. I gave it a fancy name, but... Okay, Jamaica-bound J trains were running with delays because of problems at 75th Street, Enderts Lane. So that was another interesting thing that happened. So we had an issue with the J today. This happened at 1:30 this afternoon in Queens. So I actually know where 75th Street, Enderts Lane is. That's one stop. The next stop is Forest Parkway. And then the next stop in Ozone Park is Woodhaven Boulevard. Yes, so I'm familiar with that area now. I had to give myself a little bit of a refresher. You know, because the old refresher in the noggin will definitely make the video go smoother. That I will say. Oh, another issue with the L train. Rockaway Parkway bound L trains were running with delays because of mechanical problems at Canarsie. Wow. So the last stop was having mechanical problems. Again, I really feel the pain of L train customers lately. I really do. It's the same pain we have to deal with the E and the F in Queens. But once they shut that tunnel down next year, that's going to be a problem. So it was both directions. See, this is what I don't get. Is that why did they send this tweet out and then they sent out this tweet a few minutes later? You know, that's what I want to figure out. We're not going to go into that. Bishop 2 and 5. Okay. Problem at J Street Metro Tech before 4 o'clock. Northbound A and C's were running with delays because of a sick passenger over there. So a lot of issues always happen at J Street Metro Tech lately. We'll admit that. Okay, let's see what else we got. I saw something on the 7. Yeah, Matt Camper was talking to me about this on his Periscope. Was that we had Flushing-bound 7 trains running with delays because of signal problems at 52nd Street in Woodside. And normally that's when 7 trains start to run express to Flushing. So I don't know why they didn't say 7 Express. That's very odd. Unless they've... I have to double check my info, but I'm pretty sure that 7 has morning and afternoon express trains. So that's something I'd have to look into. Because I know they used to have that in both morning and afternoon rush. Oh, here's something interesting. This was the tweet Matt was talking to me about. Main Street bound 7 trains had to run express from Queensboro Plaza to 74th Street in Jackson Heights because of signal problems at Woodside 52nd Street. Wow, another interesting thing we had about 3 hours ago. Southbound 1 trains had to run with delays because of a sick passenger at Times Square 42nd Street. So there were probably some angry people trying to get over to South Ferry and they couldn't because the one was having a little bit of a problem with terms of that sick passenger. But it really wasn't the end of the world because from Times Square you can also take the R and the W and it also goes to South Ferry. So that really wasn't a big issue with that station in terms of the sick passenger, but Thank goodness there's 3 subway lines at South Ferry. If you want to go to the Statue of Liberty. Ooh. Northbound F's at 6:30 were running with delays because of a sick passenger at Jamaica 179th Street. Again, this is the agony of taking the F lately. This is what we have to deal with. And again, I always talk about the L train. Wait until 2019. Wait until people start complaining, because that's going to be something that will be interesting to hear for 15 months starting next year. Okay. Let's see what we got. That was the earlier tweet with regards to trains in Woodside. I'm just going to quickly double check if anything else had problems. F had problems in Brooklyn. I'm not going to go into that. D had problems because of a sick passenger in Coney Island. We're not going to go into that. Oh! 8 o'clock, just an hour ago. Northbound E and F had service problems and delays because of a train with mechanical problems at Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. And this also actually affected... Okay. Let me get this straight. Why couldn't they let us know that the M and the R were having problems? Let's look at this tweet for a sec. Let's see if anything... At for the commuters. I love reading this. For the commuters, if you're watching this video, you're getting a follow from me right now. There you go. Okay, here's a good question from @Doc_Albert. The E trains were running express to Queens? Yes, unless they already passed the switch and are stuck on the local track. Kenny the Dream. Love being stuck underground right now. Thanks, Mayor de Blasio. Well, I love to blame de Blasio for this, but actually, we can blame Andrew Cuomo for this. He was the one over the years that didn't pay any attention to proper maintenance of the subways. So if you want to blame Bill de Blasio, you can sort of do that because he's violating the state law. The city is supposed to pay the MTA off for any state projects the MTA does. That includes the subway action plan from last summer, in which de Blasio refused to pay half for the plan Joe Lhota did last summer. Okay? So de Blasio's already violating the law. And I wish Andy Byford would pressure him. I really wish he could, considering he's only been on the job now for almost 3 weeks. See, I wish Andy Byford was reading all these tweets. I really wish he was. But he's only been on the job now for almost how long? 3 weeks. And still nothing is changing. But again, I want to know, why couldn't they tell us that the M and the R was also having problems trying to get over to Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue? The people who needed trains from Long Island City, Astoria, and Woodside couldn't get service because the MTA wasn't letting them know that the trains weren't running through Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. Ditmas. Let me read that for a sec. That's Brooklyn, at Church Street. Southbound F and G were running with delays because of signal problems at Ditmas. Wow, this is interesting. Right before 9 o'clock, southbound 6 trains had to run express from 125th Street, Harlem to Grand Central 42nd because of signal problems at Lexington Avenue and 59th Street. So, some people were probably happy that they were going express tonight, going to Grand Central. And by the way, Teddy's complaining in the background because my dad hasn't fed him yet, but he'll feed him soon. And that's pretty much the last tweet that was on the feed. You can refresh this. If I can't, I apologize. Looks like nothing's going on the feed, so that's the subway update for today. All I just want to say is that my message to Andy Byford is that check NYCT Subway because it's very important. It's part of your job technically now to see what's going on. And more importantly, again, you're the president of New York City Transit. You know, maybe you should have a little talk with Bill de Blasio and tell him that he's violating New York state law, that he is not fulfilling the state law to pay for Joe Loda's subway action plan. There's only money coming from the state that at least Andrew Cuomo paid for. Bill de Blasio came up with a dumb excuse and he said, "We need a millionaire's tax. We need congestion pricing. I'll listen to Andrew Cuomo now." Yeah, well, Joe Loda begged Cuomo for money, and that sort of worked. So why can't Andy Byford, the president of New York City Transit, beg Bill de Blasio for money? I know politics isn't his job, but he's dealing with a dumb moron. That's the right wording I can put on for you, okay? A moron who does not read the law of New York State, okay? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. We're stuck looking through this subway feed, wondering what's going on. That's why I'm making this video. We have the Long Island Railroad messed up. We have John from Pine Power doing videos. We have Matt Camper doing his periscopes. And my priority to my New York City fans is to keep you all updated, most cases, on what's going on with New York City Subway. I will still keep that promise. And more importantly, if you're looking for Long Island Railroad today, what really happened, when you're done watching this video, Pine Power LI. And I complain about Patrick Nowakowski sometimes, but this is my battle with New York City Subway. And I need to speak up for all my strap hangers that have to deal with this mess, that have to deal with de Blasio, who is violating New York state law, not paying half of the money for the subway action plan from Joe Loda. Okay? So, that's my final point. Thank you for watching the update for today. And if I have to keep doing these updates for the subways, I'll keep doing them.